Well, I thought for a minute about doing the service backwards and insulting the congregation, but I thought best not to do that in the end. For all the partying and merrymaking and celebrating, the roots of Carnival, the roots of Mardi Gras, well, the deep roots probably go back to Bacchanalia and Saturnalia, depending on if you prefer the Greek or Roman. But so much is rooted in turning things upside down, in rebellion. In the 15th century, the upper classes were participating in the celebrations, but by the 16th century, the upper classes had separated themselves from the rabble, and that's when things really got going. That's when it became so much more about understanding how to turn things over. And if we look at where the world was at that time, at what was getting turned over, a new world order was coming into being. When times are hard, I mean really bad, when things are awful for the downtrodden, one of the strongest tools is the arts, including the folk arts, including carnival, celebration. And mockery, celebrating, and street theater. Why is this? Well, because you can get away with a lot more in theater, first of all, because we're just playing, it's just a play, than you can by saying something outright. The court jester could always speak more truths than any minister in a cabinet. But also because in times of great sorrow, if we let ourselves sink into despair, how will we ever recover? Perhaps somewhere you've learned about the learned helplessness experiments. These are old experiments that were done many, many years ago and probably would not be reproduced today, but where animals were punished and could not escape, and other animals could learn that they could do something to escape the pain or the punishment. Then when placed in a different situation where it was very easy to escape the punishment, the animals that had been placed in the situation where they could not escape didn't even try. They learned helplessness. When we fall into absolute despair, aren't we in that place? There's no hope. There's nothing I can do. Hopelessness. Hopelessness is one of the saddest states we can be in, I think. One third of the book of Psalms, there are 150 Psalms, 1/3 of the book of Psalms is laments. I think I've told you this before. We need to complain. We need to get our complaints out in faith. We need to complain in faith. We need to be able to say, I am hurting. But we can't stay there forever. We also have to be wary of toxic positivity. We can't just say, everything is great, everything is awesome. Everything is great if you're part of a team. Do you know that from the Lego movie? We can't just pretend that everything is fantastic all the time. It's not. A great Hebrew Bible scholar once said, talking about the Psalms, that praise without lament leads to triumphalism. Lament without praise leads to despair. We don't want either of those. But when we can celebrate in the midst of strife, when we can punch up, when we can mock the oppressors, that gives us power. Power. It removes some of the power they have over us. That's the gold in the color of Mardi Gras. Now, let me tell you something else about Carnival and Mardi Gras. And that is the masks. Masks are so important. I have a couple here. This one's all black. Not Mardi Gras colors, but it's fancy and it's got little sparkles on it. It's hard to see on the screen. This one's pretty fabulous, and you were invited to have beads and masks today. Masks are a fantastic thing. First of all, they're festive and they're pretty, and some have, oh, fabulous feathers and all wonderful things. They hide our faces. If we're going to be out in the streets, reveling, punching up, mocking the oppressors, isn't it good to be able to do that anonymously? Isn't it a good thing? Now, back in the Middle Ages, there wasn't facial recognition software. There was just neighbor recognition software. But these days, people often wear masks to protests and things where they don't want to be recognized. Anonymity can be an important tool. Now, not everybody has that option. Perhaps you saw just the other day about the Ukrainian woman who went right up to a Russian soldier in the street and handed him sunflower seeds and told him to put them in his pocket. She said, go home, or else put these in your pocket so that when you die here, something good will grow out of you. Well, dang. And if you saw that video, she wasn't wearing any mask. That is some kind of brave. Or the Ukrainian soldiers on Snake Island who were told to surrender by a Russian warship. They radioed back to the Russian warship. They knew it was the end. And they told them to go and F themselves. Wow. What gives people that kind of steel? Perhaps it is celebrating in the midst of strife. Perhaps it is finding a way to lift up the ridiculous. I want us to support the Ukrainian people. I want us to pray for peace, but not the kind of peace that comes with Russia steamrolling over them. For true peace, for Russia to leave so that they can be in peace. I want us to pray for justice. I want us to work for those things. That's how prayer works. We pray for the things and then we work for them. But I hope we can do those things by finding some joy, a kernel of joy. I hope we do not fall into despair. Let us take this time to celebrate. Now, I invited you to show up today with masks and beads. And if you did, I invite you to, even if you didn't, I invite you to turn your camera on if you wish. If you wish to be part of some photos that we will share, and I'm going to ask our Zoom jockey, Cecilia, to put her screen on I can't remember the word, gallery view, on gallery view, and take some screenshots if you want to put your masks on, and we will share that over social media. If you'd like to put on your masks, I'll hold up this mask. And if you'd like to do that, I see some masks out there. And Cecilia, will you give me a thumbs up in the chat or an okay, or when you've got some screenshots going on? And we can share that on social media. I see a thumbs up. Excellent. Thank you. Beloveds, laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. There is nothing wrong with enjoying the good work we do. Let us turn the world upside down.